So today we're going to look at how salespeople lose sales. Is maybe some of this is going to be a little tender for some people because they're going to get. I'm going to talk about how people mess up and how people lose the sales to the competitor. I came up with at least I think I've got 10 of these things that we as salespeople do that mess up the sale. So let's take a look at it and see what we have and how we can overcome these things. So how do you lose a sale? Well, first off, where's your focus? Sometimes we focus too much on winning the sale and what we're doing to win the sale and get the deal or get the business. And we don't look at how we mess things up. And believe me, we do mess things up. Too often we don't even know we did it. We're doing things that irritate customers. We're doing things that drive them away. We don't know we're doing it. All we know is that we lost the sale. And if we don't know what we're doing wrong, we keep doing it over and over again. We keep repeating the negatives and the bad things. And the next thing you know, your closing percentage is dropping. You're in the tank. You get depressed. You blame others, even blaming the competition when really competition is the problem. We are the problem. We are the problem. We have to look internally at ourselves. If you're losing consistently, maybe the problem is you, and you need to reevaluate what you're doing wrong and how you can do better. So let's take a look at, I've got 10 things that you may be doing to screw up your own sales. I've got 5 that are okay, yeah, they're pretty bad, but I've got a top 5 at the end. I left the top 5 reasons for the very end of this. So is it because of your lack of product knowledge? Possibly. If you don't know what the system will and won't do, then you can't properly create a solution for the customer. So you do need to have product knowledge. You got to learn something new every day. You have to do something with your education with regard to what are you doing with the product knowledge. We've created our YouTube University, our Aldelo University, for you to go to. Hundreds of videos there, some very short, some a little bit longer, but all of them there to target topics regarding our products and how you can do better with regard to this with the software. Study your competition. Guys, if you lose to a competitor, find out why. Why did you lose? Study that competition, learn their weak points, create a list of their strengths and weaknesses, look at the opportunities you have and what threats they pose to you. Do a SWOT analysis. Find out what you can on that competition, but study your competition. Study your own product. And then, of course, study the industry. If you're not comfortable in the restaurant space, then learn what the restaurant space is. Learn what the terms are. Learn their procedures. You don't have to work in a restaurant to know these things. You can find out on your own through your own internet searches or otherwise. But find out, how often do they do inventory? What are their losses? What is their food costs? How do you calculate food costs? Go through these things and study the industry so that you know how to talk to the restaurant owner. Next thing is why salespeople fails. They sit by the phone waiting for the phone to ring. They're not out prospecting. They need to be out in front of customers, getting belly-to-belly handshakes, getting out talking with customers, prospecting. You got to have a funnel of new prospects all the time, every week. You got to have that. How about not networking? No, you have other vendors in your same market, in the same industry. You've got vendors who are not your competitors that can be your allies. If you're selling in the restaurant space, the vendor who sells wine and liquor and beer, those guys know everybody. And if you can buddy up to them, they'll teach you or tell you where to go, who's opening a new place, who's the new manager here, who's the owner here. They know these things. Networking is very powerful and can bring you some good leads. And the worst thing is you're not out prospecting with existing customers. You may even just drive by and not even think about stopping in. You need to go back and talk to that existing customer to keep them happy, to keep your competitors out, and maybe find out what's going on in their area. They probably have some good leads for you. Next up, why salespeople fail is they have lousy demo skills. We have partners who don't even own an iPad or a tablet. How are you going to show the product if you don't have the basic hardware? Go out and invest in yourself. If you don't have a tablet or an iPad, get one this weekend. You can get a used iPad and be able to function in this industry. You have to have that going forward. Invest in yourself. And you say, well, I don't have internet when I get to the restaurant. That's not a problem. We run in airplane mode. We still run. So just make sure you load the images before you walk in. You don't have to have the internet to be able to show the product. And when you do, you can be conversational. You don't have to have a button pushing demo. You can have a conversation about this is what it looks like. These are the things it does. You can actually have a conversation with that restaurant and that restaurant owner, and they could buy it without having to touch the terminal. It's a believe it or not, but it does happen. And then give the prospect the terminal. Just say, here, you do it. It's that easy. Here, what do you think? The access number is 111. Touch that and walk yourself through it. It's not hard to do. If you are struggling with doing the demo, maybe you can give it to the tablet to them and they'll figure it out. But don't be afraid to put the tablet in their hands. Our software is easy enough for them to figure it out. So why do salespeople fail? Is it the competition? Not really. I don't think so. I don't think it's the competition unless they got there before you did. Too often, you're still sitting by the phone, you're not prospecting, and the competition beats you to the sale. And they're the ones who get the sale before you even know that sale's going on. You need to be out front, finding those people, finding those prospects, churning up those sales, and beating out your competition by getting it before they do. Take some time to learn about your competitors. People who don't do that live in fear of the competitor. When you know your competitor, you go, what's the big deal out of that? And then all of a sudden you start calling them burnt bread instead of what they like to be called. They're not that tough. They're not that big a deal. And when you learn about them and you get to know them, all of a sudden they become a joke in your mind. And you then can help that customer see the fallacies in the competitor's approach. Look for the competitor, learn everything you can. What about getting their quotes? You ever seen one of their quotes? Well, why not? All you got to do is ask for them. When you make a sale, ask that customer you just sold, hey, can I have those quotes that you got from the other competitor? Can I take a look at those? If they won't physically hand them, take a picture of them. But find out what their quotes look like. When you get that quote, what are you going to do with it? You're going to learn from it. And speaking of quotes, the next thing that why salespeople fail is they get a call from a customer that says, hey, can I get a quote? They just want a quote. They just want a price. Hey, what are you doing? Are you selling insurance? Are you Geico? Well, even Geico takes 15 minutes to do a survey. So don't just be a 15-minute survey and a quote sending an email. That sale's not going to come around. That's a waste of your time. Now, that might be a prospect, but approaching them with a quote is not the way to do it. This assumes that all POS is the same and everything's about price. It's not that way. All POS is not the same. All POS, they're all different. Some of them solve a problem, some of them cause problems. So don't ever get to that It's got to be about a price or got to be about a quote. Regain control of the sale. You do that by doing a survey. Even Geico takes a survey for their insurance. So you need to do a survey as well. Create a solution from the survey. You can regain control of this by explaining to the customer, I have various prices. It all depends on what you're going to need in your operation. This is not a one size fits all. We have to tailor this to your specific needs. It would be wrong of me to propose something to you that you don't need. Would you mind spending a few minutes with me to let me know what your needs are, what you like about your current system, what you don't like about your current system, why are you looking, how many servers do you have, how many terminals do you need, those type things, in order for me to give you a better solution. Don't talk about a better price, a better solution. You want to make this about the solution. Once you do that, then you can give them a price. But you have to regain control of that sales process when all they want is a quote. So now let's get to our top 5. These are the top 5 reasons that salespeople absolutely fail. And the number 5 reason is they talk too much. They're running off at the mouth. They're not listening for the buying signs, such as, how much is it? What is the price? How soon can we get it? I helped a reseller recently with a demo. And during the presentation, during the demo of the solution, the customer asked me, what's the price? Well, that's a buying sign. You know what I did? I shut up and took the order. It was time. They had seen enough. They'd answered their major questions. They knew the solution would work. They liked what they saw. They were comfortable with what was being presented to them. They just wanted to know the price. Boom. I shut up, shut down, turned it over to the referral partner, and let them do the rest. Because we had sold the system. When the customer asked the buying sign, shut up, take the order. I've literally seen salespeople go, but I'm not done showing you the system. I got more stuff to show. Just shut up, take the order. Number 4 reason. So they're not listening to the buyer. Buyers will tell you what you need to know in order to get them a solution. But you just have to listen. And then you have to ask questions. Have conversations with the prospect. Find out what they need. Find out what their problems are. What do they like about their existing system? What do they want to do? What they don't like? What are their growth plans? That's a good question to get them to start talking about their future. You want to make sure that the solution that you have will work for them in the future. And then above all, take notes. You want to be able to start writing to get them used to you seeing you write. So when it comes time for them to write their name on the paperwork, to get that order going, they're more comfortable. But you just need to listen and win. Listen, they'll tell you what you need to know in order to sell them. Number 3 reason salespeople fail is that they're scared of the price. Their hesitation in their voice. Well, this is going to be a couple $100 a month. Well, no, this is only $200 a month. And look at what you get for that. There's a difference in the way you're presenting it. Don't be afraid of the price. There are some sales methods that actually talk about covering the price up front and then showing the solution. I'm not opposed to that, but let's not make it about price. Let's make it about the solution for the price. There's always going to be a price. They understand that going in. The customer knows that this is not free. They understand there's going to be some kind of payment involved, whether it's hardware, services, solution, whatever. There's always some kind of outgo on their end. They understand that. So don't be afraid of the price. Don't avoid the price, but have a plan going in to do the return on investment. Show them what your system and your solution is going to do for them. It's going to have to be about them. Know your numbers. Don't be afraid of it. Go in with the comfort and confidence that not only do you have the right solution, that there is a justifiable return on that investment, and do not be afraid of the numbers. The number two reason that salespeople fail is they lead with product and not the solution. Customers don't buy products, they buy solutions. So never lead with the product, always lead with the solution. Literally, I've had customers tell me that Burnt Bread walked in and said, I have the exact thing you need to run your business. Huh? How do you know that? You haven't even talked to them about what their needs are. How can you know you have the problem, the solution, when you don't even know the problem? And that's what they approach. They have that much, that's their approach in a lot of cases, is they walk in and say, I am from so-and-so and I have your solutions. That's not, don't ever, ever, ever lead with the product. And also, I don't like leading with the price, because then that means if you're going in and saying, I can do all this and I am the cheapest around, lowest price loses. You cannot continue to be the lowest price solution or the lowest price product and stay in business. So let's get away from this race to the bottom. Learn how to do a return on investment, and then learn how to close. You do that, and not only will you close more business, you'll make more money on each sale. Don't have a race to the bottom. And then finally, the number one reason that salespeople lose is they don't do a survey. Most sales are lost way before the demo even happens, if it happens at all. Because if you're not doing a survey, you're not finding out their needs, you cannot do a proper solution. Not knowing the prospect's needs will lead to your failure. You'll be selling and pushing something on them that they don't want. Whereas if you had a survey, you knew what their needs were, you could then provide them solution to their needs. Listen to their needs. Focus on the solution and understand this most important thing. Prospects will pay for a solution to their problems. So provide them a solution based upon the survey, and you always win. Always win. So what questions do you have about? I did the top 5, but actually there was 10 reasons why salespeople fail miserably. And if you're not looking internally when you've lost a sale, you need to look internally as, what did I do wrong? Look there first before you start blaming the competition.
No questions, but somebody did share their experience in the chat. Joe says, I continue to train myself to ask and listen for needs and pains instead of talking about every feature, which in the past has slapped me in the face as prospects did not have the most features in their radar.
There is not any customer ever that would use every feature we have. It's just not. Every module is not meant for every restaurant. It's just, we have to laser focus. I go in with, let's say, 5 return on investment features that I'd like to talk about with a restaurant, but maybe only 3 apply, and maybe 2 can over justify the system. So you don't want to go in with all 5, because maybe not all 5 are important to them. But certainly you could find 3. If you find 3, you're going to get the sale based upon the justification. It just works out every time. But you have to listen to their needs in order to do that. And then having diarrhea of the mouth is just awful. Just running and talking and talking and talking. They get so, the customer turns off. They just don't have that much time to put into what you want to say.
Very important, Jerry. How you doing, Jerry? Just Gil. very important that the dealers, they learn the product inside out. You know what I mean? The product is sells by itself. So we did a lot of conversion back and almost a 50 install the last year. So,
Mhm.
you know, the reseller needs to know the product inside
Process
out.
is
Very
a
good.
big deal. It is. Product knowledge is a big deal. You gotta know what it does and it doesn't do, what it does and does not do. But Gil, I can see you out in front of a customer, just having a conversation, not having to push a lot of buttons.
That's what it is. Thank you.
Mhm. If you have the confidence in your product knowledge and in your competitor's product, you then know what to have a conversation with the prospect about that makes your product look good and the competitor look bad without even mentioning their names.